But
Hey, what's up? So I just came back from shooting today with a buddy of mine, and other than doing some very light fundamental stuff, I didn't have enough ammo. I'm actually pretty strapped on ammo right now, so got to make do with what I have. But we were supposed to kind of hang out with his family, go shooting. That didn't end up happening because travel reasons. Um, I decided I still needed to zero my dot because I am now using a different dot and a lower offset. So I figured might as well take advantage of the day because I was going to go there anyways. Uh, and also demonstrate something that's going to be either in the background or it'll be playing separately. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. But I went shooting with a friend a couple months ago, and he's currently in the process of, right now, even with going through a pipeline and a selection style uh, program that upon completion he'll get to wear a nice fancy hat, right? So I'm hanging out with him, and everything he knows about guns or shooting and what have you, if I'm not mistaken, is purely based off of what he's been taught so far in small unit tactics, weapons and tactics, and whatever phases of the program that these individuals go through when going through them. I noticed when we went shooting, he shoulders his rifle in that very improper way, which leads me to the conversation of violating the principles of shooting. The principles of shooting, to my understanding, as I have seen for myself, have done for myself, and have learned from, not in person, indirectly learned from individuals online like Matt Pronka, Lucas Botkins, Kyle DeFore, Kyle Fitzgerald, I believe, um, Christian Saylor, Brantley Marion, the individual who runs Velo training group, 532 Insights, CTTS Solutions, um, and the list goes on. Individuals that have been there, done that, haven't been there, done that. Paul Costa, another name, uh, and overall, all of them subscribe to the kind of practical shooting mindset. I believe, based off of what I've heard from every single one of these individuals that I just listed. Joel Park, Ben Stoker, other names, other well-known names in the shooting space, right? So based off what they have repeatedly said, in 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 simplistic and in summarized terms, grip, vision, and then I guess trigger press, right? Probably in order, maybe arguably in order of importance too, but grip and vision being the most found things. And then that could be broken down into a more specific or nuanced, especially nuanced way of talking about and discussing. But in simplified, in one word terms, grip, vision, trigger. Um, Consistency, efficiency, proficiency, all whatever words you want to use. So when you connect to a rifle and you don't put the stock in your shoulder, and instead you ride the stock off your shoulder, which I'm sure many of you have seen that, and you do that slick or in kit, you're violating a principle of shooting. You're just not going to be able to shoot as well, as efficiently, as proficiently, or as expeditiously, all the 10-cent words you can think of. You're just not going to be as fast and as accurate. You just won't be. You know, you could maybe be accurate, but you're definitely going to be a lot slower. And then if you go too fast, you will see the detriment of how that's going to affect your shooting downrange. So this video is going to demonstrate how wearing kit does not need to violate the principles of connecting with your rifle. And then on top of that, we didn't really get too far into it, but just a lot of conversation that I've been seeing with the tall mounts, tall mechanical offset mounts, and then lower mechanical offset mounts. This is about a 1.7 right now. There's a spacer in there. Honestly, I might even put it down to a 1.5, but we're going to see how the 1.7 goes, because I have been for about 2 or more years been using the Unity riser, so a mechanical offset of 2.26 inches, which when you add height over bore part of the equation, you're looking at anywhere from like 1.2 inches. I don't know what the exact number is. I think everyone has their number, but you add an inch, so we're about 3.5, closer to 3.5 inches of a height over bore with this optic mount versus this optic mount, which gives me uh, 2.75, right? So why does that matter? Honestly, in terms of preference, I probably would prefer to shoot this more so. However, the issue begins to become really highlighted when you shoot in the prone or when you shoot through ports. So you now have this obstruction because the optic might be sitting here, and that might be exactly what's being blocked by whatever barrier you're shooting through, because the gun still is able to fit through the port, but now you can't see with your sights. Or if you're in unconventional positions, this is a lot harder to aim down with, and you start looking for it a lot more, in my experience, because I don't train it specifically enough. But this becomes a lot more difficult in unconventional positions and through port shooting. And in the prone is where, at distance especially, you will note the deficiencies that this is going to cause. Whereas if you keep a mount, in my opinion, so far in experience, in under the 2 inches, so you stay under 2 inches for your mechanical offset, you will not deal with those kind of issues. You will not deal with those issues. They won't be as noticeable or present at all, if at all, with a lower mechanical offset, because now you're closer to the bore of the gun. You're able to aim in the prone more effectively, more efficiently, more proficiently, as well as just generally like shooting through ports or small openings. You are less likely to deal with the obstruction. There's a use case for this where it might make certain things easier in life. If that is not your 99% concern, then this is strictly just for the vibes. I think I've enjoyed using this. I think it is great. I think it's a good tool, or not a good tool, but it's a good piece of equipment. I've enjoyed it. I now see how, in a general use case, this is actually pigeonholing me, and I'm not getting the full benefit of a rifle for rifle things at rifle distances when using something that is probably going to be preferred by individuals who use rifle and do rifle things at arguably what would be pistol distances, because that's where this might feel a little bit better to use. But in terms of how I move the gun, and I could be wrong here, I haven't reviewed the footage at all, I don't believe that there's a difference in how I move the gun, how I shoulder the gun, and how I connect to the gun with one versus the other. Other than, hey bud, come here, because I don't want you barking. Come here. Then don't bark, please. Other than losing a cheek weld, which in the prone and maybe shooting at distance, standing or kneeling, I can see the argument against tall mounts. Uh, Cheek weld, I think I have proven to myself, is not necessary, but its benefit is expressed or more apparent when, again, you're doing rifle things at rifle distances. If you aren't doing rifle things at rifle distances, then you'll never see this as a problem. This will always be fun, good, cool, convenient, easy, upright posture, all the things that people make the argument for tall mounts for. It'll always be it'll always be right. But the second you start doing rifle things at rifle distances, you will note that this becomes very uh, deficient rather than an increase in proficiency or efficiency. So I don't know. My opinion, take it for what it is. Uh, I've now learned through matches and shooting more, especially at distance, that a lower mount is going to be better. And when you consider scoped carbine things, maybe different people, right? Different people do different things, but I think generally across the board, most people doing rifle things and precision based things with carbines or scoped carbine things, they're more than likely using a lower mount, a 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, maybe no higher than a 1.7, which that's where this is at right now. Because getting in the prone with a tall mount is garbage. It just is. You can do it. It's not the best. Shooting through ports with a tall mount is garbage. Shooting in unconventional positions with a tall mount is garbage. My opinion, it's my experience. I think it's right. I think if you're trying to be most widely umbrellaed general preparedness baseline, you're gonna want a lower mount with your rifle. Yeah, that's what I think. Not to say that this doesn't have to exist. I think the more you expose yourself in different environments, the more you'll see that this isn't gonna be the best the best thing to have, and you'll probably end up going back to a lower mount if you actually expose yourself to different environments and different things. So yeah, that's my opinion. I didn't really get to demonstrate the cheek weld and chin weld variances too well. The camera got hot and it overheated my phone. Uh, but there is a noticeable difference in the perceived recoil, as well as just how the gun tracks when you are able to put more of your cheek into the gun versus just chin into the gun. And it kind of goes into one of the, I don't know if it's considered a principle or not, but something that I've seen with distance rifle work. You don't want to put a hard object on another hard object. So like a rifle on like a solid block of wood, if you can help it, right? Or a bolt gun on a solid block of wood or a log or whatever, things like that. If you can, you want hard contact with soft contact, right? Which is why people use bags for distance related rifle work or bolt gun work. And that's why you see gun bags or shooting bags. Hold on, almost done. Because hard contact to soft contact lets the thing form and gives better, and you don't have these two hard these two hard things that don't match up appropriately with each other, kind of going against each other and against the kind of efficiency of the work that you're trying to produce. And I think that same thing can be validated and true with putting your jawbone, getting the chin weld right against the stock or brace of your gun, which is why we want to put our cheeks to the brace or the stock of the gun, because that's a soft point of contact to a hard point of contact instead of a hard point of contact to another hard point of contact. All right, well, that's everything. In the video, we'll see what it looks like, and I will do my best to just like have things playing in the background or playing afterwards. It is what it is. Low production, hopefully high quality thoughts, but low production video and effort. Anyways, keep training. Just a everyday dude doing everyday things. And if you're truly that hardcore guy that believes in the Constitution, especially the Second Amendment, yeah, you should be training. You should be pushing yourself. You should be looking for performance gains all the time, because the first time you want to do something shouldn't be the first time you do that thing. And if you're truly concerned about your life, your loved ones, other things, then I would pray that you're making the effort or have the time to make the effort. I don't have a lot of what's it called, ammo lately. I haven't been able to shoot a ton lately, so today was like maybe 200 rounds, if even. If you're the kind of person who's only got 100 rounds to spare when you go shooting, uh, the only thing I can really say is make it count. Don't run through 6 different drills, because you're only going to get 100 repetitions of live fire. And if that's the only time is once a month that you can do just 100 rounds of live fire for dedicated practice, I would really focus in on just 1 or 2 things, and I would only make it fundamental work if that's all the ammo you have. So 1 or 2 things at a time. If 100 rounds is really all you have, dedicate it to fundamental works until you get to that point where you know you're squared away and you need to work on the next thing. All right, catch you in the next one.
Yeah, super good enough. Whatever. Good enough for purposes.
You know, they also make.
Huh?
They also make. I think it's Magpul makes risers for their, for their stocks that help to get a better cheek weld, while also allowing for the higher risers.
They do. However, the thing with that is that the gun still has a higher offset.
Yes.
So when doing positional or port shooting, you still get the same problem.
That's fair. Yeah.
You're fixing the cheek weld.
The cheek
issue,
weld, right?
Which I would argue is not really an issue until it becomes an issue. But that being said, you know how you could also get a cheek weld is by just bringing your mount lower.
Yeah.
So it's like, if a cheek weld was that important to you, then why'd you raise your offset? You know, that's my opinion. And then when you go back into scoped carbine stuff, guess what you end up doing? Having a lower mount. So it's like, you could just have the same height mount for all your platforms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're still at 25. The zero's a little off because obviously this is ridiculous. Look at this, but I can see through the optic.
Hey, bro, I heard you like optics.
Yeah, exactly.
So I put an optic on top of your optic.
I'm now going to shoot the left target, and I'm going to shoot at the head box, or in the general vicinity of the head box, upper third to head box. So, all right, just going to engage.
Okay.
We're going to see what that looks like. No surprise there, because again, zero shift, but we have shots here, so whatever, right? Kind of expected. From your perception, how did that look in terms of recoil management? Insignificant or significant?
I didn't notice too much of a difference.
Okay.
I'm sure that if I go back in the video, though, if I have a video in front of me,
yeah,
that I can slow down and
so here's what we'll
look
do
at.
Is we're gonna shoot at speed. I already know that center mass. The shots are trailing off to the right. There's about maybe 8 shots. I'm gonna hug to the left half of the target. We're gonna shoot center mass. I'm gonna shoot 5 rounds at speed, and I'll wait for the beep.
Ready?
Stand by. Hold on. Let me get a.
Yep.
Okay, ready.
Stand by.
Felt like a lot of bounce.
Yeah,
I felt like there was a lot of bounce.
you didn't have a rhythm with it.
Huh?
You didn't have a rhythm with it.
No.
There was no rhythm there.
Well, I was shooting as I saw the dot land. And we have 1, 2. That's new. I believe this is new. So that no one thinks I'm bullshitting. Then we're walking.
People are gonna think you're bullshitting anyway.
That's fine. I really don't care about people's opinions. They can either take it or they can leave it.
I guess the internet, like you.
Yeah. And then what I want from you is I'm gonna shoot a handful of times.
Okay.
And I just want you to be on one side of me and then the other side of me.
Okay.
Because I want people to be able to see the actual shouldering of the rifle.
Okay. Well, you can't do that, can you?
Huh?
You can't shoulder the rifle.
No, of course not. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not able to.
How could someone shoulder a rifle in full kit?
I don't think you can.
And you have your buzzer. So we are about 25 meters.
Yep. Are we buzzing?
And then
Want me to buzz?
I want to give me a test beep. Okay, thank you. Okay, shooter's ready. Shooter is going to do just 5 rounds. On your beep.
Stand by.
And then, if you don't mind, stand off to my left now.
Ready?
Shooter ready?
Stand by.
I'm not being aggressive with the gun. I'm letting the gun move me around a little bit. That's more of a me problem. And now an off shoulder ready, as off shoulder as you can get. So from the belt line. On you.
Stand by.
On you.
Stand
Wait,
by.
stand by. Ready. I'll have to replace this anyways. No? It's funny how much weaker that got. Okay, so I shot 5 times. You did that 1, 2, 3, 4, so there should be 20 shots. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and then I threw 1 shot over there. So 20 shots. This is still recording. This is a clean target right here. And now, to demonstrate, something slightly differently. And if you don't mind, it's already recording.
Okay.
Now, this isn't an excuse. This is a note for me to say later for myself. I do not train in kit often. I will say that felt a little awkward. However, the point is that you can still have rifle in shoulder pocket and good connection to the rifle. You do not have to shoot like this just because you're in body armor. You just have to bring your shoulders up. That's all it is. People say meet the sights, meet the optic or the sighting system to your eye line. So the best way to do that is to bring the gun up to your eye line. Shocker, right? I'm looking at Brian. Not that you can see my eyes. Anyways, whatever. So now we're gonna do the slick.
All right, Slick.
Just to see if there's a difference. Ready?
Stand by.
And then if you don't mind standing off to the other side, and we're just gonna run through the gambit again.
Yeah, no problem.
And don't hit the let it continue recording, because then we're gonna walk down range.
Okay.
Ready?
That was 195. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. All right. Do you know that Arizona's hot?
Oh, was that?
Arizona's hot.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All 20 shots accounted for. There were 2 mics there. All hits here. They're very open and spread out. That's more of an issue with the shooter than it is the gun. I was bouncing around quite a bit. And then my issues with that is just a lot of low left shots, and I think that's just because I was kind of fighting the armor a little bit. Like I'm just not used to shooting in armor because I don't do it often. However, you can still get your shoulder pocket. I think it's dumb when people don't say that. That's all.
So anytime I make a video, I always want to read from scripture, because I just never want this to be about just me, because that's not my intention. My intention is that I want people to train. I want people to get better information. I want people to see other everyday people, to just know that these things are possible. It just takes time, and you got to prioritize. You got to prioritize what matters. And if you have a wife and kid, a job that just won't let you go, things like that, you put in the time where you can put in the time. I do speak from a place of privilege, and I'm very attuned or keenly aware of that. I really am. That being said, this is work and it sucks, but if it matters to you, you'll find the time and you'll make the effort. So no one's that busy, because if you're that busy, then you better have a stellar relationship with your kid or wife, boyfriend, whatever, or you better be making crazy money soon if you're that busy and that dedicated to relationships or work. So no one's that busy that you can't find 5 minutes in your day to just have a daily mindful practice of something. And in that vein, I'm currently reading John. So I already finished John 12. I'm going to read John 13 later, but I want to read over part of John 12 from verse 44 till about, honestly, I want to read the whole thing. So you can either bear with me or not. This is the New King James Version. Then Jesus cried out, and again, this is John 12, verse 44, starting from verse 44. Then Jesus cried out and said, "He who believes in me believes not in me, but in him who sent me. And he who sees me sees him who sent me. I have come as a light into the world, that whoever believes in me should not abide in darkness. And if anyone hears my words and does not believe, I do not judge him, for I did not come to judge the world, but to save the world. He who rejects me and does not receive my words has that which judges him. The word that I have spoken will judge him in the last day. For I have not spoken on my own authority, but the Father who sent me and gave me a command, what I should say and what I should speak. And I know that his command is everlasting life. Therefore, whatever I speak, just as the Father has told me, so I speak." There's a consistency in Christ, in who he is. And in the same way he said, I came here to save the world, but don't be fooled that you won't be judged. You have a choice to come to me. It's your choice. And every day is a choice to come closer to Christ. If this isn't your jam, I don't apologize, but I respectfully can understand. However, if this is your jam, there's still relevancy and direct correlation between this, and consistency is the name of the game. So if you want to be a better shooter, you better be consistent with the true fundamental principles. Just like if you want to be a true, more Christ-like person, it takes consistency, it takes effort, and it takes abiding in the truth and fundamental principles of what God said. So I don't know how you can argue against that, but I'm sure someone can. And if you can, great. Love the engagement. All right. See you later.